Yechezk'el, Ezekiel chapter 14. Then certain of Israel's leaders came to me, and while they were sitting with me, the word of Adonai came to me. Human being, these men have taken their idols into their hearts, thus setting in front of themselves the stumbling block that leads to sin. Should I let them consult me at all? Therefore speak to them, and tell them that Adonai Elohim says, everyone in the house of Israel who takes his idol into his heart, thus setting in front of himself the stumbling block that leads to sin, and then comes to the prophet, I myself, Adonai, will answer him in a manner suited to his many idols, in order to grab hold of the house of Israel in their hearts, since through their idols they have all fallen away from me. Therefore say to the house of Israel that Adonai Elohim says, repent, turn yourselves away from your idols, turn your faces away from all your disgusting practices. For everyone, whether from the house of Israel or a foreigner living in Israel, who separates himself from me and takes his idols into his heart, thus setting in front of himself the stumbling block that leads to sin, and then comes to the prophet, asking him to consult me for him, I myself, Adonai, will answer him. I will set my face against that person, make him a warning sign and an example, and cut him off from my people. Then you will know that I am Adonai. Now, whenever a prophet is enticed into speaking a word, it will be I, Adonai, who will entice the prophet. I will stretch out my hand over him and destroy him from among my people Israel. The prophets will bear the guilt for their sins. The sin of the prophet will be the same as the sin of the inquirer, so that the house of Israel will no longer wander away from me or defile themselves with all their crimes. Rather, they will be my people, and I will be their God, says Adonai Elohim. The word of Adonai came to me. Human being, when a land sins against me by dealing treacherously with me, so that I stretch out my hand over it and break off its food supply, sending it famine and eliminating both its human and its animals, even if these three men were in it, Noah, Daniel, and Evav, they would by their righteousness save only themselves, says Adonai Elohim. If I unleash wild beasts on the land, and they kill its children and desolate it, so that no one can pass through because of the animals, even if these three men were in it, as I live, says Adonai Elohim, they would save neither sons nor daughters, only they themselves would be saved, and the land would remain barren. Or if I bring the sword down on the land, saying, let the sword pass through the land, so that I eliminate both its humans and its animals, even if these three men were in it, as I live, says Adonai Elohim, they would save neither sons or daughters, only they themselves would be saved. Or if I bring a plague into that land and pour out my fury on its bloodshed, so that I eliminate both its humans and animals, even if Noah, Daniel, and Evav were in it, as I live, says Adonai Elohim, they would save neither a son nor a daughter, they would save only themselves by their righteousness. For here's what Adonai Elohim says, even if I inflict my 4 dreadful judgments on Yerushalayim, sword, famine, wild animals, and plagues, to eliminate both its humans and its animals, there will still be left a remnant in it to be brought out, including both sons and daughters. When they come out to you, and you see their way of life and how they act, then you will be consoled over the calamity I have brought upon Yerushalayim, over everything I have done to it. Yes, they will console you when you see their way of life and how they act, and you will understand that it was not without good reason that I did what I did in Yerushalayim, says Adonai Elohim.